The silence around you is not empty, it is watching. They thought you would break. They were certain you would fall. But here you are, still standing, still breathing, still chosen. Listen carefully. My child, because I did not bring you this far to leave you hidden. They are shaking right now. Not because of you alone, but because of the power inside you that they underestimated. You walked through fire they tried to call your destruction. You survived spiritual attacks they hoped would silence your destiny. You fought battles you never told anyone about. Nights when you cried and still believed. Moments when heaven felt silent, but I was there. You defeated something bigger than hatred. You defeated a coven like a one-person army. Yes, I saw every prayer you whispered in pain. Yes, I turned your suffering into authority. And this story, it is only just beginning. You thought I was angry with you, didn't you? You thought the weight you carried meant I had turned away. But listen to me carefully. My child, because I need you to hear this truth deep in your spirit. Your struggles were never punishment. Not once did I watch you suffer and call it payment for your past. Not once did I measure your worth by the storms you walked through, every tear you hid from the world. I collected them. Every night you asked, why me? I was already turning that question into purpose. You were not breaking, you were being built. The world sees strength as loud victories and public success. But I build my chosen ones in quiet places, in rooms where no one applauds, in seasons where friends disappear and voices grow cold. You thought you were being buried, didn't you? But I was planting something inside you that could survive storms others would never survive. You had to learn how to stand when nothing around you was standing with you. You had to learn faith when there were no signs, no guarantees, no human promises left to hold on to. Because the assignment waiting for you is not small, it is not fragile. It cannot be carried by someone who has never walked through fire. Do you remember the days you felt overlooked? The moments when people treated you like you were ordinary? That was not rejection from me. That was protection from distractions that would have pulled you away from your destiny. I had to strengthen your spirit, not your comfort. Comfort does not build spiritual authority. Fire does. You survived things that were meant to make you quit believing in your future. You kept moving when your heart was tired. You kept praying when your words felt empty. You kept hoping when hope felt foolish. That is not weakness. That is chosen strength. Because there is an assignment on your life that requires endurance. There is a purpose connected to your name that darkness tried to erase but could not touch. You are not here by accident. You are here because I preserved you when life tried to destroy you. And now the preparation season is ending. The lessons you learned in pain are becoming authority in your destiny. The struggles that once felt like punishment are becoming evidence that you are ready for what I am about to release into your life. Stand up, my child, not as someone who barely survived, but as someone who was prepared by heaven itself. Your assignment is waiting, and you are stronger than you have ever realized. You cried over people I was already removing from your story, didn't you? You kept asking why doors kept closing when you were trying so hard to be accepted. You thought something was wrong with you. But listen to me very closely. my child, because I need you to understand what really happened behind the scenes of your life. Rejection was not your failure. Rejection was me protecting you from spiritual environments that could have stolen your purpose. I saw the conversations you were not invited to. I saw the circles that slowly turned cold when your light started shining a little brighter. I saw the friendships that changed when your destiny started becoming visible. You thought you were being pushed away because you were not enough. But I was pulling you out of places where your spirit would have slowly died without you even realizing it. Some environments do not attack your body, they attack your calling. They do not always hate you openly. Sometimes they smile while quietly trying to shape you into someone you were never meant to become. You were never meant to shrink yourself to fit into spaces that could not carry your anointing. You were never meant to silence your voice just to be accepted. You were never meant to dim the light I placed inside your spirit just so others would feel comfortable standing beside you. I watched you try to prove your worth to people who had already decided how they would see you. I saw you overgive, overlove, over-explain, hoping someone would finally understand your heart. And I had to step in. Because your purpose is bigger than social approval. Your destiny is stronger than temporary belonging. Do you remember those lonely moments when you felt invisible in a room full of people? That was not abandonment. That was relocation in the spirit. I was quietly separating you from spiritual environments that carried jealousy, competition, or spiritual stagnation that would have delayed what I am building through your life. You are not rejected because you are unwanted. You are rejected because you are different in the way chosen ones are different. There are people who could not handle the story I am writing through your life. There are environments that could not handle the level of spiritual authority you are growing into. So I had to let certain doors close, even when it hurt you deeply. And I know it hurt. I felt every tear you tried to hide. I heard every prayer you whispered asking to be accepted, to be seen, to be loved. But listen to me now. The people who rejected you were not meant to carry your future. I was clearing the path for divine connections that will recognize who you truly are. I was protecting your heart so that when your destiny moments arrive, you would not carry wounds that could slow you down. Stand still for a moment and feel this truth inside your spirit. You were never abandoned. You were being guarded. And what I am about to do in your life will prove that every rejection was simply protection wearing the disguise of pain. You thought no one saw the wars you were fighting, didn't you? You smiled in public while your spirit was screaming in private. You acted strong when your heart felt like it was shattering into pieces no one else could see. But hear me now, my chosen one, because I was watching every battle you fought in silence. The battles you fought in silence were not signs that you were losing. They were training grounds for spiritual authority you could not have received any other way. There were nights when you lay awake fighting thoughts that tried to convince you that you were forgotten. Moments when fear tried to speak louder than your faith. Days when you felt pressure on your chest, like something unseen was trying to push you down spiritually. You did not even have words to explain what you were feeling. Just heaviness, confusion, and a quiet battle inside your mind and spirit. But I was there in the silence. When you prayed with broken words, I heard them. When you didn't have strength to pray, only strength to believe, I counted that as faith. When you kept moving forward, even though you felt spiritually exhausted, you were growing in authority without even realizing it. Because authority in the Spirit is not given through comfort. It is given through endurance. It is given through battles you win when nobody is clapping for you. It is given when you choose to keep believing, even when everything around you feels spiritually heavy. You were not just surviving attacks. You were learning how to stand as someone who cannot be easily shaken. The enemy wanted you to believe you were alone in those battles. That the anxiety, the spiritual pressure, the emotional warfare was proof that you were weak. But it was actually proof that something inside you threatened darkness. You are not just someone living life. You are someone being shaped into spiritual authority. Every time you refused to give up, your spirit grew stronger. Every time you chose hope over fear, your destiny voice became louder in the unseen world. Every time you kept walking forward, even when you felt spiritually tired, you were being prepared to carry influence, purpose, and power in your calling. I saw the moments you felt like you were standing alone against forces you could not explain. But you were never alone. I was teaching your spirit how to recognize truth in the middle of spiritual noise. You are not just surviving warfare. You are learning how to carry victory as part of who you are. One day, you will speak and things will shift in the atmosphere around you. Not because of human strength, but because of the authority I forged inside your spirit through your silent battles. So do not regret the nights you fought alone. Those were the nights I was building something inside you that no enemy could destroy. And what I have placed inside your spirit is stronger than every war you have ever faced. You thought I had forgotten you, didn't you? There were moments when the world felt loud, but your life felt strangely quiet. Friends became distant. Messages stopped coming as often. People who once stood beside you slowly drifted away, and you wondered, God, where did everyone go? Listen closely, my chosen one, because I need you to hear this truth deep inside your spirit. Your isolation was not abandonment. It was me separating you to strengthen your calling. I did not remove people from your story to punish you. I removed distractions from your destiny. You were in a spiritual season where I had to get your attention away from noise so I could speak to your spirit clearly. Because your calling is not built in crowds. It is built in quiet preparation. There were days when loneliness felt heavy. Not just emotional loneliness, spiritual loneliness. Like you were walking through life while carrying something inside your chest that no one around you could understand. You tried to explain yourself, didn't you? Tried to make people see your heart. But some parts of your destiny cannot be understood by people who are not meant to walk the same spiritual path as you. So I had to separate you, like a craftsman shaping something precious in private, like a master preparing a weapon that cannot be tested in public before it is strong enough to stand against real opposition. You felt like you were being hidden, but I was actually strengthening your identity. In isolation, I taught you how to hear my voice without needing validation from others. I taught you how to stand firm when no one was cheering for you. I was teaching your spirit how to become spiritually self-aware, strong enough to carry purpose without being dependent on approval, because chosen ones must learn how to stand even when they feel unseen. Do you remember the moments when you wanted someone to understand you, but no one did? That was not rejection. That was spiritual conditioning for the destiny I placed inside you. You were learning how to carry responsibility for something greater than emotional comfort. I saw you on nights when you felt invisible, when you wondered if anyone truly cared, when silence felt louder than pain. I was there, shaping resilience inside your spirit. You were not being forgotten, you were being fortified. Isolation is where I strengthen leaders, where I build spiritual depth inside people who will later carry influence, healing, and destiny impact into places that are still waiting for them. You are not meant to need constant crowds to feel alive. You are meant to carry spiritual presence into spaces where people will feel hope just because you walked in. And soon, the isolation season will make sense. The strength I built inside you will begin showing itself in your confidence, your peace, and your spiritual authority. You were never alone. I was just preparing you in silence for a destiny that will speak loudly. I saw every tear you tried to hide, the tears you wiped away before anyone could notice, the tears that fell in silence when you were alone in your room, staring at ceilings filled with questions you didn't know how to answer. Listen to me, my chosen one, because I need you to understand something deeper than pain. Every tear you cried was not wasted. Every tear was turning into spiritual power you cannot yet fully see. You thought those tears meant you were weak, but in my kingdom, tears are not signs of defeat. They are proof that your heart still belongs to hope, even when life tried to teach you despair. I collected every tear you ever cried. Not one of them fell without purpose. Not one of them was ignored by heaven. There were nights when you cried because you felt misunderstood. Nights when you cried because you loved people who could not love you back the same way. Nights when you cried because your spirit felt tired of fighting battles that no one else could see. But while you were crying, I was transforming something inside you. Something invisible, something powerful, something that will one day become spiritual authority in your life story. You see, power in the spirit is often born in broken places, not in moments of pride, not in moments of comfort, but in moments where you still choose to believe, even while your heart is cracking open. I saw the way you kept moving forward, even when your emotions were exhausted. That was not survival. That was spiritual formation. Each tear was like soil being prepared for seeds of destiny. You did not know it, but your pain was fertilizing future purpose inside your life. What felt like loss was actually growth in places you could not see yet. There were moments when you wondered if your tears made any difference, if heaven really heard you, if your prayers mixed with your pain were reaching me. Yes, I heard every broken whisper. I heard every silent cry when you didn't even have words left to speak. I heard you when you said nothing at all, but your heart was screaming inside your chest. And I was turning your suffering into spiritual strength. Not to make you hard, but to make you unbreakable in purpose. because I have assignments for your life that require emotional endurance, destiny moments that require spiritual maturity, places where your presence will bring comfort to people who are currently crying the same tears you once cried. One day, you will stand in victory and realize something powerful. You will realize that your compassion came from your pain. Your wisdom came from your struggles. Your spiritual authority came from nights when you thought you were alone, but you were actually being transformed. Do not be ashamed of the tears you cried. Those tears were not weakness. They were evidence that I was shaping something strong, something compassionate, something powerful inside your spirit. And what I am building through your life is greater than every tear you have ever cried. You remember how they looked at you, don't you? The way they smiled like your dreams were small. The way they spoke about your future like it was already decided, already limited, already ordinary. But listen closely, my chosen one, because I need you to hear this truth deep in your spirit. Your breakthrough is connected to the enemies who underestimated your destiny. Not because I celebrate their hatred, but because I use what was meant to break you as evidence of my power working through your life. They thought you would disappear. They thought your silence meant defeat. They thought your struggles meant your story was ending quietly. But I was writing a different ending all along. I heard every word they spoke about you when you were not in the room. The moments they doubted your ability. The times they laughed at your dreams like they were unrealistic. The times they looked at your potential and decided who you would become before your story was finished. They underestimated the destiny I placed inside you, and that underestimation became part of your spiritual weapon, because something happens in the spirit when chosen ones are overlooked. Strength grows quietly, faith becomes deeper, purpose becomes sharper. You were not crushed by what they said, you were being sharpened by it. There were moments when their doubt tried to enter your thoughts. Moments when you wondered if maybe they were right, if maybe your dreams were too big, if maybe your calling was too heavy. But I kept reminding your spirit in quiet ways. Through small victories you didn't celebrate, through survival moments you thought were just luck, through opportunities that appeared when you least expected them. Your enemies thought they were writing your ending, but they were actually confirming your elevation. Because I do something powerful in the lives of my chosen ones. I turn opposition into announcement. I turn hatred into preparation. I turn rejection into revelation. The people who doubted, you will one day watch what I do through you and wonder how you survived what you survived. They will not understand that I was building resilience inside you while they were speaking against your future. Your breakthrough is not random. It is connected to every moment you refused to quit when others expected you to. You kept walking when they thought you would stop. You kept believing when they thought disappointment would break your spirit. You kept praying when they thought you would lose faith. And now something is shifting. Not loudly, not suddenly, but powerfully. Your breakthrough is rising in the same story where they once underestimated you. And when it happens, it will not just be success. It will be spiritual testimony. It will be destiny vindication. It will be heaven showing the world that I never abandon my chosen ones. You thought you were walking alone, didn't you? You felt it in the quiet moments, in the empty rooms, in the nights when your thoughts felt louder than your prayers. You looked around and saw no one standing beside you, and you wondered if I had stepped away. But listen to me very closely, my chosen one, because I need you to feel this truth in your spirit, not just hear it with your ears. Divine protection has been surrounding you even when you felt completely alone. You did not survive this long by accident. You did not escape things that were meant to destroy you by luck. There were moments when danger came close to your life, not always physically, sometimes spiritually, emotionally, or mentally, and you felt something you could not explain pull you back from the edge. That was me. I was there in ways you did not recognize, in decisions you made without knowing why, in delays that frustrated you but saved you from something you could not yet see, in relationships that suddenly fell apart before they could damage your spirit permanently. You thought you were unlucky, but I was moving you away from spiritual harm. There were times when you felt like you were surrounded by darkness, like pressure was closing in around your mind, your emotions, your future. But even in those moments, I had placed protection around your destiny. Do you remember the moments when you should have given up, but something inside you kept saying, keep going? That was not just motivation. That was spiritual protection speaking through your own spirit. You survived things that were meant to break your confidence. You survived people who carried hidden intentions you could not see. You survived seasons where confusion tried to make you lose faith in your own purpose. And yet you are still here, still believing, still hoping, still moving forward. I was guarding your calling when you were guarding your heart. I was protecting your future when you were trying to protect your emotions from pain. There were enemies you never saw, spiritual battles you never had to fight directly, because I fought them for you in ways you cannot fully understand yet. You are not fragile. You are preserved, like something precious kept safe through storms, like a light I refused to let darkness extinguish. Even when you felt abandoned by people, you were never abandoned by me. I was in the background of your story, redirecting paths, closing doors, shifting circumstances, and quietly keeping you alive in purpose. And now I want you to stand in this truth. You are not walking into your future alone. The same protection that carried you through your darkest nights is still surrounding your destiny moments ahead. You are not surviving by chance. You are being guarded by divine purpose itself. And what I am preparing you for is greater than the battles you have already survived. You keep calling it luck, don't you? You keep thinking the fact that you are still here is just coincidence, just timing, just random survival against overwhelming odds. But listen to me very carefully, my chosen one, because I need you to feel this truth deep inside your spirit. You are not surviving by luck. You are being preserved for a chosen future. There were moments in your life when everything around you should have collapsed. Situations where hope was thin, where circumstances stacked against you like waves trying to swallow you whole, where people walked away, where plans failed, where dreams felt like they were fading into distance you could almost touch but never reach. And yet you are still here, not broken beyond repair, not spiritually empty, not lost in the chaos life tried to put inside your story. You are still breathing because I preserved you. Do you know what preservation means in the spiritual sense? It means I kept something alive because its time had not yet come. It means I protected your identity when life tried to change who you were meant to become. It means I kept your spirit intact even when pressure tried to reshape your heart into something smaller than your destiny. You thought survival was just about getting through another day. But I was thinking about generations of purpose connected to your life. I was thinking about people you will help heal. People who will find hope just by hearing your story. There were moments when danger came close, not always obvious danger. Sometimes emotional danger, sometimes spiritual exhaustion, sometimes situations that could have slowly drained your purpose without you even realizing it. But I kept you from disappearing into circumstances that were not meant for your destiny. You are not here because you were the strongest. You are here because I decided your story was not finished. I saw your potential long before you believed in yourself. I saw the calling on your life when you were still struggling to understand who you were. I saw the future version of you standing in strength, speaking hope, carrying influence, bringing light into places that are currently filled with darkness. You are not just surviving. You are being strategically preserved like something rare, something valuable, something destined to shine at the right moment. And I know you felt forgotten sometimes. I know you wondered why your life took so many detours, why your path was harder than others. But preservation sometimes looks like delay. It looks like silence. It looks like being hidden while I prepare something greater through your life. Soon, you will look back and understand. Every struggle was protecting a future you could not yet see. Every survival moment was proof that I was guarding your destiny. So stand tall now, my chosen one, not as someone who barely survived, but as someone who was preserved for something extraordinary. Because what I am about to do in your life will prove that you were never just surviving. You were always being prepared for destiny. You are starting to feel it now, aren't you? That strange quiet voice inside your spirit telling you that your story was never random, that the pain you carried was never wasted, that the nights you thought would destroy you were actually shaping something inside you that you cannot fully see yet. Listen to this rising truth, because it is getting louder in your spirit right now. Your pain had purpose, not just meaning. Purpose. Preparation disguised as suffering. Destiny being forged inside pressure you never asked for. There were seasons when you felt like you were being pushed backward, while everyone else moved forward. Seasons when doors closed and you felt rejected, overlooked, forgotten by people, maybe even misunderstood by God Himself in your darkest thoughts. But I need you to hear this with your spirit, not just your emotions. You were never being abandoned, you were being prepared. Every struggle was strengthening something invisible inside you. Every disappointment was building spiritual endurance you would need for the assignment waiting ahead. You were learning how to stand when no one was clapping, how to believe when no evidence was visible, how to keep walking when your heart felt heavy, but your calling refused to let you quit. There were unseen forces protecting you, when you didn't even know you were in danger. Situations you almost entered but didn't. Relationships that almost changed you but were removed at the right time. Opportunities that disappeared because they were not connected to your destiny. That was unseen protection. That was destiny watching over you when you thought life was simply being unfair. And now something is activating inside your spirit. Do you feel it? That quiet strength growing inside your pain. That confidence starting to replace fear. That sense that your story is about to shift from survival to purpose. Because you are not just someone who survived pain. You are someone being activated through pain. The same suffering that once tried to silence you is now becoming authority in your voice. The same struggles that once made you question your value are now becoming evidence that you were chosen for something bigger. Your destiny is not just waiting for you, it is rising inside you right now. And what you thought was your ending was actually preparation for your beginning. So hear this, chosen one, as this story closes. I want you to feel this truth burning inside your spirit. You were never forgotten. You were never abandoned in your pain. When you felt alone, I was there. When you cried in silence, I was there. When you thought you were losing, I was building you. Every battle made you stronger. Every tear made you deeper. Every attack only proved that your destiny was worth fighting for. Stand up now, not as someone who survived by chance, but as someone preserved by divine purpose. The story of your life is not ending in defeat, it is rising in victory. Your future is bright, your calling is alive, and heaven is still writing greatness through you. Walk forward with courage. Walk forward with faith. Walk forward knowing that what I started in you will be finished in glory. You are chosen. You are protected. You are unstoppable in God's destiny.